of this evening, everyone got the agenda. I actually did not include it to pull it up, but I'll give some of the history of the league and general information. And then we had talked about each VP sharing information about possible ways of getting involved with their respective areas. And an opportunity for any questions and any additional dialogue. So Katie, if you will allow me to, can I,
You
okay.
should be able to.
All right. All right. So the first thing that's always important to share is that the League is a nonpartisan grassroots civic organization and that we do not support or oppose any political party or candidate. We focus on encouraging informed and active participation in government, work to increase the understanding of major public policy issues, and those policy issues are influenced through education and advocacy. Membership is open to all people of voting age and all genders. This is a slide that shows the should I say origin of the league. The national organization was founded in Chicago on February 14, 1920.
I'm sorry, I'm not. Are you sharing your screen?
I am. Are y'all not seeing it?
No.
Okay. Well, thanks for letting me know that. Let me see what's going on.
Thank you, Carla. I was sure it was my bandwidth. I was trying to turn everything off to see it.
Okay, so I haven't, okay, let me hit share again. Oh, well, that's the agenda. I did not want to do that. I want the PowerPoint. Can you see it now?
No.
Nope.
Now? No? It always works. Katie, can I send it to you real quick? I'm not understanding why it's not coming up. I'm doing my usual thing. How about now?
There you go.
Ah, that was so bizarre. Okay. The origin of the league. National organization was founded in Chicago in 1920 on February 14th. It was actually 6 months before the 19th Amendment was ratified, and the women as women, we won the right to vote. As we know, it was formed by the suffragists of the National American Women Suffrage Association. It actually began as this political experiment that was designed to help 20 million women actually carry out their new responsibilities as voters. And of course, it became law. The 19th Amendment became law August 26, 1920. So the league is actually now 100. This next slide, I need to adjust to 104 years of empowerment and defending democracy. The League of Women Voters of Tyler Smith County was founded in 1952 as a chapter of the national organization of the League of Women Voters in the United States. And of course, we have the voter empowerment focus. We also work to involve the residents in community issues as we move forward. We are working toward beginning to do that even more. Our advocacy role, important topics that are related to the government. The League of Women Voters of Texas, their advocacy focus is part of what we advocate for too on that level, which includes, and Carla will talk a little bit more about that under her role of those areas. And we are also a member of the Tyler Chamber of Commerce. Our mission, of course, is empowering voters, defending democracy. And as far as our vision is to have a democracy where every person has the desire, the right, the knowledge, and the confidence to participate in democracy. We believe in the power of women to create a more perfect democracy. Also, diversity, equity, and inclusion. We believe that we focus and direct our attention and aim to focus on being very diverse and embodying equity and inclusion. There should be no barriers to full participation in this organization on the basis of gender identity, ethnicity, race, or indigenous age and generation, sexual orientation, all of those things. Culture, religion, belief systems, socioeconomic status, everything that tends to separate people. Our goal is to have no barriers to people participating in this organization. And I know that certainly we've moved forward with really trying to embody that principle, as have other leagues. The leadership consists of a board of directors, president, secretary, treasurer, vice presidents, and directors. We have, again, the vice presidents include advocacy, program and advocacy, voter services, community relations, membership, and organization. And our directors support all of our initiatives and the things that the board are doing. Committees, as we obviously grow and have more engagement, certainly the committees that we do have now, budget committee, bylaws committee, nominating, very similar to any other organization, membership committee, all of our VP, the things that they are responsible for. Certainly individuals can serve on those committees, community relation, voter services, and advocacy. And you'll hear more about some of those as we move forward. In the voter services arena, certainly voter guides are the staple of part of our voter education pieces. Actually, we just got them in. Katie, have they arrived? Have we gotten them yet? They have. Okay. And there's also PDF formats now that we get via mail that can be sent to friends and family, and hopefully everyone is carrying out that piece and encouraging. I've sent some, so that's a new feature really over the last few years to have the PDF versions available. But certainly National Voter Registration Day is a big push. We just completed that and had a great turnout. We partner with other organizations to be able to cover more places and have more involvement with the locations, which were, as everybody knows, we were on the college campuses and really had a good turnout. And there's been some other sponsorships and co-sponsors in different arenas for that. Candidates forums, we have not actually had a candidate forum recently, but we are planning to do a voter education forum that is planned for the 19th. And of course, the nonpartisan voter guides, some of the other events that we sponsor, Great Decisions, Women's Equality Day, Women's History Month, we are getting more involved in, and Black History Month, we have not actually had events related to that, but there's a social media presence related to providing information about Black history. And of course, Great History, Great Decisions is an annual lecture series that is hosted by the co-sponsorship or collaboration between the library, the League of Women Voters, and the American Association of University Women. And topics for Great Decisions is provided by the Foreign Policy Association every year. So we'll be gearing up for that again in a few months. And you'll hear a little bit more about that from Carla. And these next couple of slides are just information. We do have a spot downtown in the Mile of History. And let's see, guys, refresh my memory. So this was laid how long ago? It's all like with COVID, it's all kind of, was it this is 2024. We did this before COVID, right? No?
That was post-COVID.
Was it post-COVID? Okay.
2022.
Thank you. So we had a little ceremony downtown and unveiled the key there. So that was really a nice affair that day. So just some, again, general information related to the history of the league and in general, and history of the Tyler Smith County League. The one slide that isn't in here, because I've been shuffling them around a little bit and trying to create something a little more thorough, but it's a three-tiered system. There's a League of Women Voters of US that is, I guess if you want to call it, the governing body in some respect, and then each state has their state chapters, and the local chapters fall under their state chapters. So you'll hear League of Women Voters US, League of Women Voters Texas, and then the local league. And for us, of course, that's Tyler Smith County. Okay. All right. Any questions about anything that you've seen or heard? Maxie? I'm gonna stop sharing now. Okay, great. So the next plan was to allow a few minutes for each VP to talk a little bit more about their respective area and possible opportunities for engagement and involvement. So I'll start with VP of Advocacy and Programs, Carla Higgins.
Hey, I understand we don't have anyone except the board and Maxine on right now, right? We don't.
It looks like you're correct.
It looks
like that's all
like
we
we're
have.
talking to ourselves. Okay.
Except Maxie doesn't know everything. So it'll be.
Yeah.
And this is being recorded so we can share it with other new members as well.
Right.
Okay, good. So I may need to, I've got a sort of, I've got 5 dogs. And
Five?
I've got them sequestered off with 2 sticks, but if they make noises, I might have a quick interruption, but this is only for a few minutes anyway. But just so you know, if I hit the mute button, I've got a situation. So the Vice President of Program and Advocacy. So I'm just gonna sort of lay out some different elements of what I do and talk about any opportunities that there may be for volunteers or whatever. I'm open for anyone to participate in what I do. A large portion of the VP program sort of portfolio centers around the legislation, when the Texas legislature meets. And of course, I joined the league right after it was concluded in May of 2023. So as June and July got rolling, I started doing some things during the special sessions. But there's a large portion of what I do that is going to be happening during those legislative sessions that I will be able to participate in fully in 2025. Okay, so VP Program and Advocacy, we lead a process to consider local positions and whether these positions remain relevant or should be dropped. We have had 3 positions, and it pretty much appears that we've had them for around the same positions for 30 years. And so what I'm going to be doing next spring is leading a process where we address these positions. I do not believe that any organization that's alive should just maintain their focus for 30 years. If these need to be at least reevaluated and possibly new positions adopted that reflect 2024 in our political scenario in 2024. So that's one thing. Currently, we have school board districts, how the school board districts do their elections. We have human resources, which seems to be some human resources goal that is to continue support of an information and referral service that gathers and disseminates info. And it seems to have been achieved in the past. So we have a third goal on public library services, and I'm not a public librarian, I'm an academic librarian by training, and it's a laundry list of things that libraries accomplish. So I'm going to advocate that we change these to something that's more relevant to the issues that we have today. So that's something that any of you want to participate in that process, you're welcome to do so. Second thing that the VP of Program and Advocacy does is monitors information, informs membership of Texas legislative actions and outcomes regarding league issues. So last year, at the end of the year, the calendar year, I presented on what had happened in our legislative session, and I pulled in what our 2 Texas legislators, Brian Hughes and Matt Schaefer, how they had impacted or affected the outcomes of our legislative session. So I'll do the same this year, but because I'm coming in early, I'm going to try and prepare a presentation on what we can expect to happen once they get their sort of agenda and calendar together, what we can expect, and then potentially develop some local advocacy campaigns from then. For example, I'm sure school vouchers are going to be another issue this in the 2025 legislature. Maybe we could do some advocacy, which there are multiple ways we can do advocacy to these two people in our legislature. And so we'll do some projects where we explore what the League of Women Voters has, and also some other things that possibly we could do, like advocating for, maybe we could have a presentation to multiple women's organizations in Tyler and build some advocacy projects with all of us together. I don't know what that's going to look like right now, but that's what I'll be working on. Great decisions. This past year, we successfully changed this program. Women are now represented. At least half of the speakers are women. They're local. I'm sorry, is my dog distracting? Is it too loud?
I don't hear anything myself.
Yay. Okay, good. Okay. It's very distracting to me, but so we accomplished getting women are now over 50% of the speakers, or at least 50%. We changed it to evening time, which we learned our speakers was one of the reasons we got local speakers, more local speakers than speakers from around outside of the region. We got local speakers, and we found that the evening time frame was great, and we got great speakers. They were really great, I've got to say, and they knew the audience. They did a 30-minute presentation. Many of them were instructors or teachers, so you would expect that they could just do a great job because they followed the rules, and had 30 minutes of great information. It was relevant to Tyler. So it was really, I was very pleased. Jeff Crean, the Foreign Policy of the Foreign Policy Association, did a bang up job. He took what we really wanted to focus on, and he did it. So I've got to say, hats off to him. Diversity was promoted. We actually had an African-American speaker. I mean, African-Americans are over 12% of Smith County. We had a representative, and he did a superb job, and he did a unique job. He took Indonesia, and he did a full history encompassing thousands of years in this brilliant presentation that lasted 15 minutes. It was the most interesting presentation. So he did a great job. So anyway, so we made those changes. What I discovered in the process is that we got new audiences every time we met. So 8 programs. We would get a new audience here, 3 or 4 people, and we would get the next presentation, we get some new audiences. One thing that Jeff Green and the committee were working on was to see if they could also bring audiences that they knew to the presentation. So that was an accomplishment. And what I want to do this year, what we learned last year though, is that we have no reach on social media. We just don't have any reach. And so this year we're going to try and get reach. We thought that with UT Radio, which is now defunct, that we were planning some reach activities. They had a calendar. We got great decisions on their calendar, etc. So this year we need to increase the reach, and I need a volunteer that can create flyers and post to different platforms that we want to reach, such as Eventbrite, such as certainly Facebook, on different channels, the different, I don't know if channels is the right way to put it, but we have multiple Facebook pages, for lack of a better word. That's all things Tyler and Tyler events here. And we have multiple of those, and that they would go and post to those Facebook pages. So I need someone, I would love a volunteer that had expertise in some different formats as well. That could we can create the flyer. It's the different formats needed for different things. So those are 3 sort of volunteer opportunities if someone wanted to join me. The 4th is advocacy, which I sort of wove into my discussion on when I monitor the Texas legislature. I sort of mentioned that, but I'm going to develop some advocacy projects where we reach out to our 2 dudes, the Brian Hughes and whoever is Matt Schaefer's replacement, and get some advocacy going. I went to a women's march this past Sunday, and LaRonda was there as well. And we were at this women's march, and it's clear we have a lot of women who would like to impact change. And since that's sort of our bread and butter and our foundations in 1920, I want to return to some of those foundations and see if we can reach out to the community, especially of women, and get some advocacy activities going. And I'll have to develop that, but would love to have someone else participating. Okay. I don't know if I went over my time. Sorry.
Thank you. That was good information. LaRonda, you want to go next?
Okay, I know Carla was a tough act to follow. Mine won't be as detailed, but Maxine, I am the VP for Community Relations. And I had to go back and find Marilyn's email back from 2021 that she listed the job descriptions. So the major responsibility of the Community Relations Vice President is to make other board members aware of the ways to build the league's image in the community. Everything the league does can influence the way the league is seen by the community. So the goals of the community relations is visibility. I think I do that fairly well. Keeping the community aware that the league is an effective group promoting citizens' participation in government and effectiveness, establishing and maintaining good working relationships with the media, as well as with other community organizers, business leaders, public officials, and citizens in general, and recruitment, informing prospective members and the public of league activities and inviting their participation. So the overall responsibilities are putting together the Women Equality Day program, which we have every August, and inviting political leaders, influential leaders to the events. I didn't know we was in fill in for a committee chair in an emergency. I didn't know that. Outreach to the community, again, including Women's Equality Day and related activities. Stay abreast of plans and activities for each committee. Strategies and tactics or traditional media contacts, newspaper, radio, and television. Been doing it with the newspaper, have kind of fallen through with the radio and television, but we'll definitely work on that. News release to announce public meetings, new publications, and other regular activities. And produce colorful and well-designed posters, flyers, and brochures, but they missed me with that. So that would be Dee and Katie that helps with that. Maintain a stay connected list of league supporters to allow information and engagement. So every time we have our Women Equality Day or any other events, I do have a list that I do share all of the activities with the community that I'm aware of. And I'm pretty good with sharing it on my social media handlers. But I guess the biggest thing I do is to chair the Women Equality Day. So Maxine, if you looking for a committee, I welcome you with open arms if you would like to assist with Women Equality Day. We're looking for a different approach for next year. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. The technology piece requires a whole lot of different skill sets that you
Yeah.
kind of choose who has the best skill set for some of that. And we work as a team to try to make it happen. Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right. Dee?
Yes, ma'am. I'm going to try to share my screen if I can. I think Miss Katie has it where I can. So isn't she wonderful? Now, if I just have to find where I put the document that I want to share, don't I? I had pulled it up. Let me see.
Oh, look
There
at your
we go.
fancy stuff.
Mm,
Wow.
okay. So I just wanted to pull this up while I was speaking. So I am first of all, I'm Denise Pendleton. I am the Vice President for the Voter Services. So the Voter Education Chair, which you'll see the first line says Voter Services and/or Voter Education Chair, coordinates and supervises all league voter services activities in the local community, educating citizens about candidate views, ballot initiatives, critical public policy issues. Voter education work is always educational and nonpartisan. And so you will see these responsibilities. And by the way, this was pulled from the Texas website, which, everybody rolls up to. So we do most of these things, voter guides, of course, conduct voter registration guides, which our major thrust is always National Voter Registration Day on the third Tuesday in September. However, we have expanded that to where we do voter registration pretty much year round. And then we do sponsor candidate forums and interviews. We have had the Coffee With, which is not really candidates, but actually elected officials that we've interviewed. And we will be taking that from a virtual platform to a person-to-person platform in the future. And then provide up-to-date information on registration and voting procedures. As you guys know, I think Carla mentioned in her presentation that we don't get a lot of Facebook engagement or social media engagement, but we still need to push it. There are still people that do look to our pages for up-to-date information on registration and voting procedures. So we will continue to do that, realizing that usually when we share it, or if I put it on the stories, it gets a lot more traction. Also provide year-round assistance to help citizens understand, use, and participate in the many aspects of government and politics at all levels. It actually listed some volunteer opportunities. Of course, during registration, you have to have set up, you have to assemble materials, deliver materials to site, publicize the events, register voters, return the materials to the coordinator, and write thank you notes. I don't think we've ever written thank you notes, but that kind of made me think back to my home training. Maybe that would be a good idea at some of the sites that we go to follow through that way. And of course, the voter guides, which are out now, both physically and digitally. So I will be getting with Katie. We're trying to round up all of the cards and signature information that we had on our tables that we can also, redistribute with the guides. I know that Ruby, I think you still have some, and also one other person that registered with us. So Katie, I'll be able to, get with you on that, how we want to distribute those. I know you mentioned maybe next week might be a good time when we meet in person, but we'll talk that out. The last thing on here has ballot issues and propositions. Of course, another part of education, maybe to explain pros and cons on city charter amendments or referenda. I know that last November, we had like the 14 amendments that were on the November election. So things like that, we did post the information that we had on that, pros and cons and what they were. So we've pretty much covered a lot of the objectives of this committee. However, there's always work. I know that LaRonda tried to recruit Maxine, but Maxine has already become a member of Voter Services. Not that she can't do both, but she was with us last
Okay.
week. Last week we had a big push since it was the last week of voter registration before this election, we returned to the former Literacy Council of Tyler, which is paved, to TJC West Campus to hit the morning classes for Wednesday and the evening classes for Wednesday and Thursday. So we did get some success there again with those. And I believe that Maxine may have gone to the food bank last week as well in Carla's absence. So we do work as a team. It's funny, we are getting our name out there. The people at the hub do know who I am as I go up there for more forums and for as we recruit people to become deputies for voter registration. We did get a lot of community support, which is great. I also know that there have been some community supporters who have joined us in becoming poll workers. So now that registration is over for this particular election, some of the possible ways to volunteer would be to become poll workers. There is training at the hub for that. Also, there are boards like the absentee ballot board. Those type of things always need additional help. Actually, it's you volunteer, but you get paid for it. So I don't know if it's considered volunteer, but it is another way that you can help during this season. If you're not deputized at this time, you can still do it, but you would have to re-deputize yourself in January because all of the certifications on the even number years. So in December 2024, all of us will have to then requalify for 2025, the 2025 cycle. And so we do encourage people to do that because a lot of times we're getting called to do registrations at different events. We had an event during Women's History Month, East Texas voter registration that my sorority did. We had a table there. We were at LaRonda's group, the criminal justice group last summer. They had a meeting where they wanted a table set up. I was at the Barbara Jordan Institute where I actually was on a panel with Joanne Hampton, one of our former county commissioners, and a precinct chair from Winona, where we talked about voter registration. That's actually out on YouTube. And we had a table at the Stand on Business Expo a couple of weeks ago. We were at the AAUW, did I say the acronym? Yes. Civility event at the public library. We were asked to come set up a table there. So we are out there with our signature, with our League of Women Voter paraphernalia, with our information. I believe that Allison and Katie also have done a couple of events where they registered people to vote. One was at UT Health, I think, was sent to me. And I appreciate the pictures because we can compile those and kind of show our visibility in the community. We were also approached by the KLTV, I believe it was, to talk about the importance of getting out the vote at high school. So we're out there. That's the good news. What we want to do is just continue to do our due diligence in not only voter registration, but now stepping it up to voter education and kind of piggybacking with Carla a little bit with voter advocacy as we call in sometimes the elected officials to come out and talk with us and meet and, kind of get to know the people. So that's where we are and what we're doing. If you have any questions, I'll stop sharing my screen so I can see you guys. I said I stopped sharing. There we go.
Hi, this is Yolanda. I just have a quick question.
Yes.
Um, do we have to request a certain amount of voters, guys, or are we assigned different locations like we've been doing? Or how would that work this year? That was a better question.
Yeah, I think Katie is compiling a list of where they typically go, but I'm pretty sure, do you have a request for some? Because we can probably accommodate you that way.
Yes, I do, and for New Life Community Church.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I guess Katie, would it be easier for her just to contact you and so that we can get everything in one place for the distribution?
Yes, that would be ideal. We have extra
Perfect.
this year, so if anybody has a voter guide requests that are above, or if you're not sure if they're on the list, send them my way. And I just need a number in English and Spanish.
Okay,
Perfect.
we did get them in Spanish again, so that's good. We can let what's our our group.
Este Poder.
Yeah.
Mhm. Let them know. And also First Presbyterian is where they do the English as a second language for the Literacy Council. And so they
Okay.
request Spanish as well.
All right, thank you.
Any questions for me, Maxine? Or anyone?
I
All right,
know
I'll turn it
that
back over to you.
Mary Carr will probably want to, we can volunteer in some arena, so I'll point her your direction, LaRonda, for community relations and advocacy.
Okay.
She too is retired, so she has a little more time during
Okay, and I talked to her as well, but I will let
Oh,
her
did you
just.
talk to her? She'll do, trust me,
Well, no,
she will do
no,
anything.
that's okay. LaRonda gonna kill me. No, that she was on our table when we registered last week. So she and
Yeah.
Maxine came out to help register people to vote. But no, by all means, because I'm sure she's interested, in learning about several different aspects.
Everything.
I think everybody thinks about voter registration and education. That part, is kind of expected, but I don't think they know about some of our other programming, our other thrusts. So
Right,
by all means, include her. I think she would enjoy it.
right. Okay. Any other, or did we lose? Maxine, are you still there? Oh, I see you. Okay. Any questions about anything? Some of this, I know you at least knew some parts of it, but you think you got a little bit more information than you came with?
Yes, yes, I appreciate you ladies and glad that I got on to hear everything. And so I've enjoyed my participation thus far and looking forward to learning more and engaging more with different activities.
All right. Thanks. All right. So,
Ruby,
yes.
for the sake of the recording, can I add a little bit about our missing position of
Absolutely.
membership and
Thank you.
organization? Awesome. Just in case anybody out there watches this later and says, man, I really want to get more involved. We are currently looking for somebody to oversee membership and organization, and it's a much smaller list in image. This is the list of organization and membership. It's these things, but it's a lot of work. You've heard our team talk about needing help with outreach. That's online. So organization includes our website. It includes our social media accounts. It includes ensuring our board has training and support, and then all the what I think of as the fun stuff. So our new member socials, we've incorporated this year as monthly socials for all members at TrueVine on the second Tuesday of the month. That I don't remember. See, I have to go to our website. I think I just shared that one screen. Let me share this, our wonderful new website. So all of our upcoming events and dates are there. That organization role makes sure this is updated. And then as the treasurer, I help with some of the member communication maintenance and communication outreach. So I work really close with the person in that role to make sure that we have everything we need and we're supporting the group as a whole. So if you are one of those technical people looking for some ways to give back, we would love to have you. That's all I got, Ruby.
Thank you. I did not mean to, that was on my mind. I did not mean to just not mention you doing that. And I see this role as something that maybe, I mean, as far when we talk committees, you know, having a committee is a good thing for all of our components, but this is one that definitely, if we had, you know, different people on that had different skill sets that could help manage those different components technology wise and all of that, that would be great. Definitely would be great. Okay, well, again, attendance wasn't quite as what we had hoped for, but that's okay. We keep moving. We keep moving. We keep moving, and this, I think it was a good dialogue for us to have amongst ourselves in that respect, and just continuing to build off of that. So next week will be more of a social gathering, and unless you feel like there's some extra components that we could, you know, discussion or information that we could give to people, we can, you know, whatever you think about that, we could do that. Now, unfortunately for me, I'm going to be in Louisiana. My schedule changed and I'm going to be in Louisiana. So unless we did something, you know, some part of thought it was necessary for me to really have some additional information to add, we could do a little hybrid thing or something for a minute if we could get into the room. But I'm open to suggestions related to that. I mean, it could be just a total happy hour and answer questions, you guys answering questions that may come up, just kind of in that respect, and still inviting people to join.
And I love the idea of bringing all of those voter guides. So I plan to have with me everything that is assigned, and I will bring all the extra. So we'll be able to get those out before early voting starts.
So I'll give you I mean, I'll tell you the numbers that I would like to have, so you can reserve them for me, or if Maxie, if you're able to go by, you can grab them also, if you don't mind.
Okay, I can pick them up, but where would I be dropping by to pick them up from?
There'll be a Truvine for the gathering next Tuesday.
Next week. Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I'll get them.
Okay. All right. Okay, well, anything else? All minds clear for the moment? I mean, we can certainly, you know, continue to dialogue via email about some of the next steps and all of that, and be prepared to talk about it at our meeting. But again, I'm encouraged. I mean, this was good dialogue for us. It was, you know, we did have one person who's absorbed all of the information, so that's good. And so we'll look for hopefully a good turnout. I don't know if it would be a good idea to send a reminder out about next Tuesday. Okay.
I can do that.
All right. All right. Well, thank you guys. Have a good rest of your evening.
Have a good evening, ladies.
Good evening.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.